Starlight Glimmer went back in time and prevented the rain boom, keeping the main six from ever coming together. Twilight tried to stop her, but time after time, she was unsuccessful. This created timeline after timeline of worlds different from our own, but she eventually got through to Starlight and they set things right? Well, let's just say the mess was a lot bigger than I ever realized. Here's how we're to believe things happened. A single timeline. Starlight goes back in time and Twilight follows. Starlight prevents the rain boom, corrupting the future that Twilight returns to. Twilight goes back and tries to prevent Starlight from changing history, but she still does it, just in a different way, changing the future in a different way. This happens a few more times, but long story short, Twilight finally convinces Starlight not to change the timeline. They go back to the same future from which they left. Everything's alright. But hidden in this narrative are some deeply disturbing implications. Each time a new future was created, it was essentially a wipe to the previous future. Every event in those timelines was overridden, essentially killing everyone there. Yes, we have different versions of them in our timeline, but they had completely different memories and even personalities. Unique individuals lost. Though they were formed by hardship, there was some good in those lives. I can't help but think about the hidden village in Chrysalis's future. That grape filly, would she even have been born under the original set of circumstances?
This is cozy.
There's a reason the Avengers didn't prevent the original snap. Humanity had found life even in hardship. Undoing 5 years of history just wasn't an option. But under this narrative, entire families and communities ceased to have ever existed. Lost not even to history. Gone and forgotten. Unless this whole narrative is wrong. What if, instead of overriding a single timeline, each world existed on its own, branching off from when the rain boom was supposed to happen? This is what I find more likely, that Starlight Glimmer unleashed a multiverse. Here's what the narrative looks like from this perspective. Starlight goes back in time and Twilight follows. Starlight prevents the rain boom, creating a separate future that Twilight returns to. The original timeline still exists, but Twilight no longer has access to it, because she's now in a universe where the rain boom never happened. So she goes back in time to before the split off, hoping to protect the rain boom and continue on to her timeline. She fails quite a few times. When Starlight finally lets the rain boom happen, the other universes still exist, they just aren't accessible from the rain boom timeline. If this is the case, the good news is these universes weren't destroyed. The bad news is they were left on their own, the only person with any knowledge on how to fix things only dropping by for a few minutes each. But those timelines are still out there somewhere. The war against Sombra is still waging, Chrysalis is still ruling, and Eternal Night is still lasting. I think Starlight should take responsibility for that. And I don't mean just going, yep, my bad, can't help being a Gemini, but to actually do something about it. These worlds are bleak, but not hopeless. Their main sixes and elements of harmonies are presumably still out there and can be brought back together George McFly and Lorraine style. Now, obviously, restoring the balance in all of these timelines is way beyond the scope of a single pony, but the tasks can be delegated. Starlight, with Star Swirl's help, could whip up a spell, not for back and forth time travel, but for up and down parallel travel. Maybe they could design mirrors like the one to the human world. All she would need is to recruit and train a team. Now, what if I told you this team already exists, and we've seen them, hidden in plain sight? A whole team of ponies with the same hourglass cutie mark. What if at some point after Starlight's reformation, she sought out all of these ponies and formed a secret society to help clean up after her mess? We already know she's rubbed shoulders with at least one of them, the one that happens to be confirmed to know a lot about time travel. Perhaps Dr. Hooves is the first pony she confronted with the plan. Regardless of how all these different ponies got the same cutie mark in the first place, I think this could be their ultimate destiny. A mission to traverse the timelines and set things right. To journey to and from the worlds, gathering intelligence and organizing operations. The story potential is endless and so much fun to imagine. But what do you think? Is there a multiverse instead of just one timeline? If so, what what can be done to help them out? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and happy birthday to the first video I posted here. If you want to support this channel financially, check out my reward tiers at patreon.com/sawtoothwaves. And thank you so much to everyone who already has, especially my Alicorn tier patrons. Sam is Cool, Josie, Hexstream, Gilded Page, Charlotte, Playton, Oceana Love, Ghastly Spark, Maximilian HG, sorry I killed Durak, Yoshi Darklord, Skunk Bunk, Hound Flash, Mungo Jerry, Dr. Hooves, The Nameless One, Paco Taco, Darth Sylar 12, Cameo Shadowness, Fairfallen, Namink, and Equinox 3141. You help make this channel possible. I'm Sawtooth Waves signing out until Friday after next. Brohoo!